Today, let us have a discussion on limit test. Limit test. Now, first let us discuss the definition of limit test. The definition of limit test is: limit test is a quantitative or semi-quantitative technique which is used for identification of inorganic impurities inside the substance. Quantitative or semi-quantitative technique which is used for identifying the inorganic impurities in substance. This is the definition of limit test, that is, limit test can be defined as quantitative or semi-quantitative technique which is used for the identification of inorganic impurities which are present in the substance. Now, what are the apparatus which are required for the conducting limit test is it requires Nessler cylinders. Nessler's cylinder. Nessler cylinder is one of the most important apparatus which is required for conducting the limit test. How does this Nessler cylinder look like? It means this is a structure of Nessler cylinder, and the outermost layer of this is the outermost layer. This outermost layer of this Nessler cylinder is made up of borosilicate glass. Borosilicate glass. It is made up of borosilicate glass, and there are two different types of Nessler cylinders are required for the conducting the limit test, out of which one is called as standard. This is standard one. It is test one. Standard and test. So these are the two types of Nessler cylinders which are used for the limit test, out of which one is called a standard one and other one is called test one. Now, what are the parameters on which this limit test can be based on means, first parameter, that is opalescence. And second parameter on which this limit test can be decided is turbidity. These are the two important parameters which describes about the limit test and which describes about the result of limit test, that is opalescence and turbidity. What is opalescence means? Opalescence is the ability to pass the light intensity from one side to the other side, that is opalescence. Now let us consider this is one standard and this is test solution. If there is any precipitate which is formed here, or else it undergoes any turbidity, the solution will become dark. The standard one will become dark. Here if we consider the opalescence, in this case the opalescence will be less. In this case the opalescence will be more. So if the opalescence in the test is greater than that of standard, then it is said to be pure form. It is said to be pure form. Now this is with regarding the opalescence. Now with regarding the turbidity, here the turbidity will be more in case of standard one. Turbidity will be more, here turbidity will be less. So there are two types of parameters which discuss the which are responsible for the result of limit test, that is, one is opalescence while the other one is turbidity. Now if we discuss about the types of limit test, there are different types of limit test, like limit test for chlorides, limit test for sulfates, limit test for iron, and limit test for heavy metals, and limit test for arsenic. These are the different types of limit test which will result in description about impurities present in chlorides, sulfates, irons, heavy metals, and arsenic. Now let us discuss about limit test for chlorides. Before discussing about the limit test of chlorides, there are four different types of methods which are used to minimize the errors in the limit test. That is, first method is washing method, while the second method is drying method, and third one is recrystallization of solids from the water. Recrystallization of solids from water. Recrystallization of solids from water. And the last method is sublimation. These are the four methods which are used to minimize the errors, minimize the impurities present in the chlorides, sulfates, and other heavy metals. This washing is based on water soluble substance. Water soluble substance. And this drying is done to the substance which are present in air. And this recrystallization of solids from the water is mainly dependent on temperature. Whereas this sublimation is process of conversion of solid into gaseous form without converting into liquid form. So these are the four different types of methods which are used to minimize the impurities present in the substance. First, let us discuss about limit test for chlorides. Limit test for chlorides. The topic is about limit test for chlorides. Limit test for chlorides. In limit test for chlorides, it is also same process in which it requires two similar Nessler cylinders. First, let us discuss about the principle of limit test for chlorides. Here, principle. The principle for the limit test of chlorides is, the limit test of chlorides is based on reactions between the soluble chlorides along with silver nitrate to form silver chloride, based on reaction between soluble chlorides with silver nitrate to form silver chloride. To form the silver chloride by using dilute nitric acid, by using HNO3. By using HNO3. This is the principle of limit test for chlorides. That is, limit test of chlorides is based on reactions between the soluble chlorides, like the soluble chlorides which is used here is NaCl with silver nitrate to form AgCl by using dilute nitric acid. This is the principle. And if we discuss about the materials or chemicals which are required, the chemicals which are required in this limit test for chlorides is, first one, standard solution, that is NaCl. Second one is nitric acid, and third one is silver chloride or silver nitrate. And water. These are the chemicals which are required for the limit test of chlorides. Now, if we discuss about what is the standard solution which is used in limit test of chlorides is, the standard solution is here. In case of limit test of chlorides, the standard solution is NaCl. That is, NaCl is the standard solution which is used in case of limit test for chlorides. Now, if we discuss about the process of or procedure of limit test for chlorides, these are procedure for limit test of chlorides. In the procedure, we should take 2 Nessler cylinders. These are the 2 Nessler cylinders. This is the standard one, while this is the test one. One is standard solution, while other one is test solution. Now, let us discuss the preparation of standard solution. In standard solution, first let us take 0.1 ml of sodium chloride. We should take 0.1 ml of sodium chloride with silver nitrate. In this one, so there is a solution in this like this. The solution will be present in the standard solution. This is standard Nessler cylinder. We should take 0.1 ml of sodium chloride, will reacted with AgNO3. This is about standard one. And next, coming to the test solution, we should take 0.1 ml sodium chloride plus, in this we should add water, that is 30 ml water, plus nitric acid will be added. So here also the solution will be prepared. So in standard solution, we take 0.1 ml sodium chloride plus silver nitrate. 0.1 ml sodium chloride plus silver nitrate is taken in standard solution. whereas in test solution 0.1 ml sodium chloride plus water plus nitric acid. This is a composition of test and standard solutions. Now, if we discuss about the reactions which takes place in this is, now reactions is in this standard solution, sodium chloride will be reacted with silver nitrate in presence of HNO3. In presence of HNO3 will form silver chloride plus sodium nitrate. Now this AgCl which is formed will be in precipitated form. In presence of nitric acid. The AgCl which is formed will be precipitated form. This is the reaction. Now, what is the use of HNO3 which is used is, it will increase the acidic nature. HNO3 will increases the acidic nature. It will increases the acidic nature. Now, after reacting, then there will be formation of precipitate like AgCl. AgCl precipitate will be formed in the standard solution. Now, if we compare the opalescence in the test solution should be less than standard solution. So, if the opalescence will be less in test solution than standard solution, then the limit test of chlorides will be passed. That will be the result. Result is, before discussing about result, we should discuss about the observations. What we have observed means, opalescence is seen in standard solution. Opalescence in standard solution. Whereas opalescence cannot be seen in test solution. Now, this is observation. Now, result. What will be the result of this limit test means, if the opalescence in case of test solution is less than that of standard solution, then the limit test of chlorides is passed. Limit test for chlorides is passed. This is the limit test for chlorides. Once again, it is based on the reaction between the soluble chlorides like silver sodium chloride reacted with AgNO3, that is sodium nitrate, to form AgCl which is in precipitate form. The AgCl which is formed will be precipitated form by using dilute nitric acid. This is the principle and chemicals which are required is sodium chloride, nitric acid, silver nitrate and water. And the standard solution which is used is sodium chloride. Now, this is the procedure to make standard solution and test solution. And the reactions is sodium chloride reacted with AgNO3 to form AgCl and sodium nitrate. And the function of this, importance of this nitric acid in this limit test of chlorides is, it will increase the acidic nature of these acids or of these solutions. Now, observation is the opalescence can be seen in standard solution when compared to this test solution. Result is, if the opalescence in the test solution is lesser than standard solution, then the test for chlorides is passed. This is about limit test of chlorides. Now let us discuss about limit test of sulfates. Now, Let us discuss next topic, that is limit test for sulfates. Limit test for sulfates. Now let us discuss about the limit test for sulfates. So first let us discuss about the principle. The principle which is involved in the limit test of sulfates. Now the principle which is involved in limit test of sulfates is, it is based on the reaction between the soluble sulfates with barium chloride to form barium sulfate. It is based on reaction between soluble sulfates like K2SO4 with barium chloride to form the barium sulfate. In acidic medium. By using HCl. This is the principle which is involved in limit test of sulfates, that is based on the reaction between the soluble sulfates, that is K2SO4 with barium chloride to form the barium sulfate in acidic medium. This is the principle. Now coming to the chemicals which are required. The chemicals which are required are, first one is barium chloride, second one is potassium sulfate, and the third one is HCl, fourth one is acetic acid. Acetic acid is also used, and fifth one is water. These are the chemicals which are used. Now if we discuss about the standard solution which is used, that is standard solution. Whereas the standard solution which is used in chlorides is sodium chloride. Now the standard solution which is used in case of limit test for sulfurs is potassium sulfate, K2SO4, that is potassium sulfate. Potassium sulfate is used as a standard solution in case of limit test for sulfates. Now if we discuss about the procedure, this procedure includes 2 Nessler cylinders, these are the 2 Nessler cylinders in which it is a standard one and this is a test. This is standard solution and this is a test solution. Now if we discuss about the preparation of standard solution and test solution, in this first let us take 0.1 ml of barium chloride. 0.1 ml of barium chloride will be taken, and in this ethanoic sulfate will be added. Ethanoic sulfate will be added. Now along with acetic acid will be added. Acetic acid will be added, and in this it also includes this standard solution, that is K2SO4. K2SO4 will be added. Now 0.1 ml of barium chloride, ethanoic sulfate, acetic acid plus potassium sulfate. These are the constituents which are used in preparation of standard solution. Now constituents which are used in preparation of test solution is, it also includes 0.1 ml of barium chloride, 0.1 ml of barium chloride plus it includes ethanoic sulfate, plus acetic acid plus water, but it do not contains potassium sulfate in this test solution. This standard solution contains potassium sulfate, whereas this test solution do not contains potassium sulfate. In this way the standard and test solution can be prepared. Now we discuss about the reactions. Reactions which are involved in this case are barium chloride will reacted with potassium sulfate, will result in the formation of barium sulfate plus K 2 moles of potassium chloride. This barium sulfate which is formed will be in precipitated form. The barium sulfate which is formed will be in precipitated form, and it is a solution. This is a reaction which is involved in limit test of sulfates. Barium sulfate will be formed as precipitate and it can be seen in standard solution. Now this is a reaction. Next let us discuss about the observation. Opalescence can be seen in standard solution. Opalescence can be seen in standard solution. Now coming to the result. The opalescence in test solution will be less than that of opalescence in standard solution. Then the limit test of sulfate will be correct form. That is, opalescence in test will be lesser. Opalescence in test solution is lesser. So limit test for sulfates is passed. This is about limit test of sulfates based on the reaction between the barium chloride and potassium sulfate to form barium sulfate, and chemicals which are required are barium chloride and potassium sulfate and hydrochloric acid and acetic acid and water, and here it also includes 6,1 ethanoic sulfate. Ethanoic sulfate, and the standard solution which is used is potassium sulfate, and this is the procedure and observation. This is the observation. This is a limit test for sulfates. Now let us discuss about limit test for irons. Limit test for iron. Limit test for iron. First let us discuss about the principle of limit test for iron. First let us discuss about principle. What is the principle of limit test for irons is, it is based on reaction of iron with thioglycolic acid in presence of citric acid. It is based on reaction of iron ferrous ions with thioglycolic acid in presence of citric acid. In presence of citric acid to form pink color substance. This is a principle based on reaction of iron Fe+2 ions with thioglycolic acid in presence of citric acid to form pink color. Now this citric acid, and it is in ammonical solutions. In ammonical solution. Now what is the importance of this citric acid means it will inhibit the precipitation of ammonia ions. Now this is the principle. If we discuss the chemicals which are required, the chemicals which are required are iron molecule Fe+2 and thioglycolic acid, and citric acid and ammonia and water. These are the important chemicals which are required, that is Fe+2, thioglycolic acid, citric acid and ammonia. And if we discuss about the reactions which are taking place in this limit test of chloride irons, that is reactions. Now as we discussed that iron molecules Fe+2 will react with thioglycolic acid, CH2SH COH. Now it forms Fe+2 SH. This is a complex which is formed. Will be pink color. It will be in pink color. This is the reaction which is involved. Now if we discuss the procedure, which is involved means it contains two Nessler cylinders, in which this is a standard and this is a test solution. Now in standard, first we should take 2 ml of irons Fe+2 ions, and next we should add 2 ml of thioglycolic acid. Plus we should add 0.1 ml of iron free citric acid. Iron free citric acid, and we should add 20 ml of water. this is a procedure of standard solution, and in case of test solution we should add 2 ml of Fe plus 2 ions plus 2 ml of iron free thioglycolic acid plus 0.1 ml of this citric acid plus water and ammonia. This is a preparation of standard and test solutions. Now after this the reaction will be like this, and there will be changing of our opalescence in case of standard solution, that is observation. If we discuss about the observation, there will be changing of color. Color change can be seen. Color change can be seen. The colorless solution will get converted to pink color, and the result will be after changing of the color into pink solution, then the limit test for iron will be correct. Limit test for iron is passed. In this way the limit test of iron can be done, that is based on the reactions of iron with the thioglycolic acid in presence of citric acid to form pink color, and these are the chemicals, that is iron, Fe plus 2 molecules, Fe plus 2 ions, thioglycolic acid, citric acid, ammonia and water. This is a reaction, that is 2 moles of Fe plus 2, and this is a procedure of preparation of standard and test solutions, and the color change can be seen, and this is the result. This is a limit test of iron. Now let us discuss about limit test of heavy metals. Now let us discuss our next topic, that is limit test for heavy metals. Limit test for heavy metals. Limit test for heavy metals. Like heavy metals like cobalt and lead, etc. First let us discuss about the principle. This is the what is the principle of this limit test for heavy metals is, it is based on the reaction of heavy metals with hydrogen sulfide or sodium sulfide to form metal sulfides. Based on reaction of heavy metals with hydrogen sulfide or sodium sulfide to form heavy metal sulfates. Heavy metal sulfates. This is a reaction. This is the principle of heavy metals, that is based on reaction of heavy metals with hydrogen sulfide or sodium sulfide to form heavy metals sulfate with the help of stannous chloride. Now if we discuss about chemicals which are required, that is heavy metals like lead and hydrogen sulfide and sodium sulfide, etc. Heavy metals like hydrogen sulfide and sodium sulfide are required. Now here we have discussed that these hydrogen sulfides and sodium sulfides are used. Now, in what conditions these hydrogen sulfides and sodium sulfides are used means, let us consider a reaction that is, and before considering the reaction, the standard solution which is used is that is lead, heavy metal. Lead will be used, and if we consider a reaction, reaction will be like this, like lead reacted with hydrogen sulfide or sodium sulfide to form lead sulfide. Now, plus 2 moles of H plus, or else lead sulfide plus 2 moles of sodium ions. Now, in what conditions these H2S and Na2S are used means, totally there are 4 different types of methods are present to do this limit test of heavy metals. That is method A, method B, and method C, and method D. There are totally 4 different types of methods are present officially, but only the 3 will be used by us. Only these 3 will be used by us. Now, in case of method A and method B, hydrogen sulfide will be used. In case of method A and method B, hydrogen sulfide is used. Whereas in case of method C and method D, in this case of method C and method D, sodium sulfide will be used. This is a difference between method A, B and C, D. In method A and method B, hydrogen sulfide will be used, whereas in method C and D, sodium sulfide will be used. Now, what is this method A, B, C, D and E means? What is method A means? It is used for the substance which will obtain clear colorless solution in specific conditions. Substance which obtain clear colorless solutions in specific conditions. That is method A. Method A is used for the substance which will obtain clear and colorless solutions in specific conditions. That is method A. And coming to the method B, this method B is used for the substance which do not obtain clear colorless solution in specific conditions. Which do not obtain clear colorless solution in specific conditions. Which do not obtain clear and colorless solutions in specific conditions. That is method B. Now, coming to the method C. What is method C means? It is used for the substance which obtain clear and colorless solutions in sodium hydroxide solution. Which obtain clear colorless solution in sodium hydroxide solutions. That is method C. Method C is used for the substance which will obtain clear and colorless solutions in sodium hydroxide solution. That is method C. And coming to the method D, It is used for the substance which do not obtain clear and colorless solution in sodium hydroxide solution, which do not obtain clear colorless solution in sodium hydroxide solution. Now these are the four different types of methods that are method A, B, C and D. Method A is used for the solutions which obtain clear and colorless solutions in specific conditions, whereas method B is used for the solutions which do not obtain clear colorless solution in specific conditions, whereas method C is used for the substance which obtain clear colorless solution in case of sodium hydroxide solution, whereas method D is used for the substance which do not obtain clear and colorless solution in sodium hydroxide solution. What is the difference between method AB and CD? Means here there is an extra presence of sodium hydroxide solution, there is an absence of sodium hydroxide solution. These are the four different types of methods, and if we discuss about details of this, here we will discuss only A, B, C. Here we do not discuss about D method. We discuss only the three types of method, that is A, B, C method. Now if we discuss about A, B, C method in detail, that is method A. This is method A. And method B. This is method B, and here method C. Method A, method B and method C. Here this is standard and test. Standard, test and standard and test. Now one common thing in this A, B, C method is the standard solution will be same, that is first let us consider 2 ml of lead solution and 2 ml of lead solution plus water will be added, and water will be added. Now in this, along with after adding water, acetic acid will be added. Here also acetic acid will be added. Here also acetic acid will be added. Now after adding the acetic acid, ammonia will be added. Ammonia will be added, and here also ammonia will be added. And after adding the ammonia, 35 ml of water will be added, and here also 35 ml water will be added, and here also 35 ml water will be added. In this way the standard solution will be prepared. First 2 ml of lead solution, that is standard solution, will be taken, and water will be added, and acetic acid will be added, and ammonia will be added, and water will be added. Now, and in case of chemicals, there is also required of acetic acid plus ammonia, and it also includes sodium hydroxide. Now in method A, let us discuss the preparation of test solution. "25 ml of lead will be taken. At first 25 ml of lead will be taken, then ammonia will be added. Now after adding the ammonia, 35 ml of water will be added. 35 ml of water will be added. This is the first test solution, that is 25 ml of lead will be added, and ammonia will be added, and 35 ml of water will be added. This is the test solution of A. And if we discuss about the test solution of B, here "25 ml of lead will be added. After adding of lead, sulfuric acid will be added. And ammonia will be added, or nitric acid will be added. Here the nitric acid will be added. This is the test solution for B method. And if we discuss about the test solution for C, 25 ml of lead solution will be taken, and we should add water. After adding the water, 5 ml of sodium hydroxide will be added. 5 ml of sodium hydroxide will be added. We should remember that in test method A, B, C, the standard solution will be same, but the test solution will be different form. In test A, we have added 25 ml lead solution plus ammonia plus 35 ml water. This is test 1. Whereas in test 2, we have added 25 ml lead plus sulfuric acid plus nitric acid. This is test 2 solution. This is test 3, that is 25 ml of lead plus water plus 5 ml of sodium hydroxide. This is test 3. In this way, 3 standard solutions and 3 test solutions are made, and we have to observe the result, that is observation. We should see the opalescence in standard and test, and standard and test, and here standard and test. We should observe the opalescence. Opalescence should be observed, and result is to discuss about the result. Thus, opalescence in test will be lesser than in A, and opalescence in test of B will be lesser than standard, and opalescence in test of compared with the standard solution of C will be lesser. So in this way, the limit test for heavy metals can be passed. In this way, the limit test of heavy metals can be done based on the reaction of heavy metals with hydrogen sulfide or sodium sulfide to form heavy metal sulfates. Here it forms lead sulfate, and here also it forms lead sulfate, and here also it forms lead sulfate. So this is the limit test for heavy metals. That is, chemicals which are required are lead, sulfuric acid, hydrogen sulfide, sodium sulfide, and acetic acid, ammonia, and sodium hydroxide, and H2SO4. And the standard solution which is used is lead solution. In the reaction, we have wrote here the reaction, and there are hydrogen sulfide and sodium sulfide, whereas this hydrogen sulfide is used in method A and B, whereas the sodium sulfide is used in method C and D. These are the method A, method B, and method C. In method A, B, C, the standard solutions will be same, but test solutions will be different. In method A, 25 ml of lead solution will be taken and ammonia will be added. After ammonia adding, 35 ml of water will be added to it. That is test 1 solution. And in test 2 solution, 25 ml of lead will be taken and we should add sulfuric acid to be added, and next nitric acid will be added. That is second test solution. That is for method B. And for method C, 25 ml of lead will be taken and we should add some water to it, and we should add 5 ml of sodium hydroxide to it, sodium hydroxide solution to it. In this way, 3 standard solution, 3 test solution will be prepared for method A, B, C respectively, and the result can be seen that is formation of lead sulfate and lead sulfate. In this way, limit test for heavy metals can be done. Now coming to the last method, that is limit test for arsenic. Now let us discuss about the limit test for arsenic. Limit test for arsenic. This limit test for arsenic, first let us discuss about the principle. The limit test for arsenic is based on conversion of arsenic into arsine gas based on reaction converting the arsenic into arsine gas. Based on the reaction, that is converting the arsenic into arsine gas. Now arsine gas is AsH3. By reacting with mercury chloride, that is the principle, converting the arsenic into arsenic gas, that is AsH3, by reacting with mercury chloride. The structure of AsH3 is AS, H, H and H. This is the structure of arsine gas. Now we know that the arsenic is present in two forms. One is trivalent form, other one is tetravalent form. We discuss about the availability. It is available in two forms. One is trivalent form and one is tetravalent form. As plus 3 and As plus 5. This is arsenic trivalent form and this is tetravalent form. Now this AsH3 will react with HCl to form H3 AsO3. Trivalent form of arsenic will react with the HCl to form arsenious acid. This is arsenious gas. So this is arsenious gas. And if we discuss the structure of this arsenious gas, As, OH, OH or OH, and it is also written as AsOH3. This is the conversion of this is a arsenious gas which is formed from trivalent form of arsenic, and this pentavalent form will also react with HCl in presence of zinc and HCl. It will form H3AsO4, that is arsenic gas. And structure of this is arsenic OH, OH, OH and one double bond. This is structure of arsenic gas. Now all the limit tests are performed in Nessler cylinders, but this arsenic limit test for arsenic is not performed in Nessler cylinders. Now the arsenic gas which is present, arsenic gas which is formed will undergo reduction process, that is H3AsO4 will undergo reduction process in presence of zinc and HCl and SnCl2. It forms H3AsO3, that is arsenious acid, arsenious gas. Now this arsenious gas which is formed will undergo reduction process, will form AsH3. What is this AsH3 means? It is arsine gas. This is arsine gas. Now this arsine gas which is formed will react with mercury chloride to form a special structure, that is Hg AsH2 AsH2. This is a special structure which is formed Hg, mercuric, AsH2 and AsH2. This is in yellow strain. This is in yellow strain. This conversion of non-colorless substance into yellow strain will result in limit test for arsenic, that is it will detect the impurities present in the arsenic. If it is yellow color strain is obtained, then there is presence of arsenic. Now let us draw a diagram for it. This is the structure of apparatus, and at the down of this container it consists of AsH3, that is arsine gas. Now at this surface it consists of mercury chloride paper. This is a mercury chloride paper. Now this arsine gas will get will enter into this tube, and will be passing in this way, and will reach this mercury chloride paper. After attaching with this mercury chloride paper, then it converts into yellow color structure. There will be formation of yellow color strain, that is yellow strain. Now after that, if there is formation of yellow strain, then there is a presence of arsenic ions. Now we discuss about the length of this tube. This is 200 millimeters, 200 mm, and if we discuss the length between these two, that is 6.5 centimeters, and if we discuss the thickness, it is 2 mm. Thickness of this rod is 2 mm, and here it is arsine gas is present, and when the arsine gas is entered into this pipe, it will reach and it is corked with rubber cork. Here it is corked with the rubber cork. And from this tube, arsine gas will be entered will reach this area and will reach this mercury chloride paper, and will react with this mercury chloride paper and form the yellow stain. If there is formation of yellow stain, then there is presence of arsenic. Then this is a limit test for the arsenic, that is principle based on the reaction converting the arsenic into arsenic gas, that is AH3, and there is availability of two forms, trivalent form and tetravalent form. Sorry, trivalent form and pentavalent form. Trivalent form will give rise to arsenious gas, and pentavalent form will give rise to arsenic gas. The arsenic gas which is formed will get reduced and will form arsenious gas, and this arsenious gas which is formed will get converted into arsenic gas. This arsenic gas will be entered into this container and will be moved into this tube and will reach this cork junction and will react with the mercury chloride paper and will form yellow color stain. And if we discuss the procedure which is involved, we should take specific quantity of, first take specific quantity of sodium, ammonia, then we should add potassium iodide. Potassium iodide will be added. Then 2 ml of zinc solution will be added. After adding the zinc solution, then we should react with this with the mercury chloride solution. After reacting with this mercury chloride solution, yellow stain will be obtained. This is the procedure, and result will be yellow stain will be obtained, and result is arsenic limit test is passed. Observation is there is coloration of yellow color stain can be obtained. This is limit test for arsenic.